Hello guys and welcome to this week's episode 2 of Season 3 of Chat It Out. I'm yourself here in the studio, me, Egg, and we also have Polo in the studio.
Hello.
And then today we're going to be talking about Red Dead Redemption 2. So, enough of my voice. Polo, what do you think of Red Dead 2?
Absolutely buzzing. Massive fan of the first one, second one, whatever way you want to look at it. As far as I'm concerned, it's the first one. And yeah, to think, if such a massive fan, if my calculations are correct, 6 years, 5 months and 7 days later we're sat here talking about Red Dead 2. Bring it on. Cannot wait.
I mean, Polo, I do, but do you remember the first time you played Red Dead?
Yeah.
The first time?
Yeah, I always do. There's a lot of games which I remember playing the first time, which are quite a distant memory now, but 6 years on Red Dead I still remember it like it was last week. The cutscene on the train, listening to people talking on the train, etc., and then stepping off the train and walking into the saloon, and just the whole, just everything about it, the atmosphere, the whole, the Wild West of it, everything was just, as far as I'm concerned, was just perfect as far as I'm concerned.
I remember how blown away by the graphics it was, like, going like a little bit before that, when I first got, say, a 360, my first couple of games were Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the 4, and just being blown away by the game mechanics and that, and also BioShock, because obviously there's stuff that you could do in that which I don't really remember doing before, like electrocuting water to kill people, etc, etc. But I just remember first playing Red Dead, and you were completely blown away by just, like you said, the environment, the way there was just random people walking around.
The world was always alive, constantly.
I think that's what I'm getting at, yeah.
People just talking to you, just people doing all sorts. I remember sitting one time, like, just looking at what everybody was doing. There was this guy, like, putting up a sign on the outside of a building, whether it was a house or whatever. He was like, they're like picking nails up off the table, hammering them into the side of the building. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Finishes that, walks off, dips his head in a bucket of water and washes his face and his head. I'm like, where's this guy going? And then he goes and sits on a porch, sits down and lights up a cigarette. I was like, this is like, what on earth? Just it's just amazing. Just when you ride out and just anything can happen. You can ride out and you can hear. Up to this day, I could play it and I could hear, at night time in the middle of the day, you could hear screams at a far distance, and you will never find out where them screams are coming from. Never. You saw what is going on.
Yeah, I remember that.
You just hear screams of gunfire, and you're just like, where is that coming from?
You investigate, and 9 times out of 10, you never would work out where it came from.
No, or you'd ride around, there'd be like someone about to be like.
That was good, actually.
Someone about to be hung, and you'd just be like, and you could even just.
And you're going to help, and it'd end up being a trap to kill you or something.
Yeah. You could either shoot the rope or you could just ride on by, and people would be like, oh, excuse me mister, can you give me a ride into town? You stop and they throw you off the horse and ride off on your horse, and if you whistle for your horse, the horse would then throw them off, because obviously it's your horse, so you've pretty much like trained it. It was just, and the story as well, and the characters, just, and okay, 6 years later, if there's somebody who hasn't played Red Dead Redemption, number one, where have you been? And number two is just why? Why have you not? But I'll say one thing: I've never ever enjoyed playing as a character as I have with
John Marston.
No, and obviously without spoiling the end or giving anything away, it's just the whole story is just amazing.
It basically just feels like an interactive giant movie or something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You almost feel like he's real. Like, I know there's other characters that I get, like Tomb Raider's got much more like that, Uncharted, Gears of War, some of the Call of Duty's a little bit, Resident Evil games, but there was something about, I don't know, I have to completely agree, there's something about Red Dead that just really pulls you in, like, not just John Marston, but there's so many different crazy and interesting characters that just really come across as believable and real.
Yeah. So obviously, going off the subject, we're talking about like Red Dead. Red Dead, but obviously the things about 2. What do we want from the second one? Well, Rockstar have pretty much confirmed it's a prequel because a sequel just wouldn't. Not only would it wouldn't work, it's just not possible because that was pretty much the end of the West at that time.
Yeah. It's going to be about Dutch and the gang.
Unless they pretty much made Red Dead 2 in the course of a day, because there's like literally a day left of the West at that time. Yeah, if they just did a prequel, even a young John, or I mean, there's been a trailer, but they've not given anything away. I've watched the trailer,
but you get the impression from the trailer that sort of probably about Dutch's gang, or well, the gang that John was in.
Yeah,
and
even if John's in it somewhere as a cameo, like just somewhere in the game. Okay, it wouldn't be the same, but it's sometimes in games it's 5 years on, 6 years on, however long it is. It's always nice to suddenly have like a legendary character in there. Like going off the subject, like I'm playing Mafia 3, and it was really nice to see one of the characters in Mafia 3 is the guy that you were in Mafia 2, Vito Scala, and he's working for you now, and that was really a nice thing to see. So it'd be good if John does make some sort of appearance in the second one, or the third one in some people's eyes, but whatever. Regardless,
John, I think it has to be in it. I think personally. Unless they made a character that was equally interesting, but I think
it's going to be hard.
I think a lot of people, regardless, want John Marston in it, and you get the impression from the trailer that it's definitely like a prequel, most probably of the gang that John was in when he was sort of an outlaw, and that will just be awesome, and hopefully it'll be just as open world or even more so than the first one.
And people obviously don't like people at the end. Some like Jack, and I think there's more people that didn't like Jack than people who did. But again,
I don't understand why people didn't like him, but I wasn't really bothered about him either.
But then at the same time, he can't really be Jack because it all ended, and it ended how it should have ended. Well, I was nearly getting something away then, but
yeah, I know what you're saying.
But I mean,
you sort of finish off the story arc.
Yeah, people are saying, "Oh yeah, Red Dead's complete. It ended how it should have ended, etc." But then there was so much backstory to John, like being in the gang and when he talks to people in the game about some of the bad stuff he did, robbing trains, robbing banks. Give us the chance to do that, because John in Red Dead is too much of a nicer guy to almost be an ass in it.
Yeah.
Okay, you can go around shooting people, but I just couldn't do that because he's such a good guy. But you get
you're sort of a humble.
Yeah, you get some. He's so noble as well. And you get some indication that back in the day he wasn't such a good guy. So it'd be good to actually see what he was like. There's a lot more to learn about him from the horse's mouth. You'd like to experience that. Yeah,
you do get the impression that he's really lived it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you really get the feeling that he's done some probably dark things almost, and stuff that he probably regrets, and he sort of learnt from, and he's obviously seeking redemption in the first game, but obviously that's probably what makes him so interesting, because he is so multi-layered and there's so much going on. It just makes him so real, doesn't it?
And even if sort of Rockstar do a bit of a Grand Theft Auto 5, for example, if you're John and then other people in his gangs, and they've each got their own individual sort of story, so you can swap between the two. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That would kind of be good, because obviously you've got Trevor, Michael and Franklin, so if you had John, Dutch and Bill Williamson or Javier Escuela, or just someone from his gang.
That is,
which would be quite interesting.
That would be interesting to see if that happens. Yeah.
See if they do that, but it's scheduled for 2017 apparently.
So there you go, guys. The fall, as I say in America, 2017 autumn, as we call it in England. So definitely looking forward to it.
Yep.
I'm definitely looking forward to it.
So they haven't said if it's going to be like, Q1, 2 or 3. If you don't know what Q1, 2 or 3, that means it's either Q1 means the first 4 months, Q2 means the second 4 months, or the third 4 months. So
there you go.
They haven't decided yet.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you very much for listening, guys. We've been talking about Red Dead Redemption 2. Both of us can't wait to play it, and feel free to give us your opinions and comments about what you think about Red Dead 2. Are you looking forward to play it? Or do you think that, you know... Well, just give us your opinion anyway. So, thank you so much for listening. Look out for new episodes coming next week and the week after and very soon. And from us here at TV Random, see you soon.
Laters.